Hey, it's Alex with alextucker.ca, reminding you to like this video if you like this video, leave me a comment if you got something to say, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Now let's go. Hey, it's Alex, and in this video we're going to talk about sales funnels versus e-commerce, what the differences are, and which is better for you and your business. So if you go into the description, there's a link to GrooveFunnels, and with GrooveFunnels you get access to a bunch of different apps for free, including GrooveSell, which is a funnel builder, and GrooveKart, which is an e-commerce platform. And someone in the GrooveFunnels Facebook group once asked what the difference is between the two, and they said that they had already consumed some content surrounding the difference, and they were having trouble understanding it. So I came up with a metaphor to explain the difference, and the metaphor I came up with was a fish and chip stand versus a restaurant. So if you hadn't guessed, in this metaphor, the fish and chip stand is the funnel, and the restaurant is the e-commerce store. So why did I choose this particular metaphor? Well, if you go to a fish and chip stand, what are you going to buy? You're probably going to get either fish or chips, or you might get both, or you might get, fish and chips and a drink, or fish and chips and a dessert if they have some, or fish and chips and an appetizer if they have some. So if you think about a fish and chip stand like a sales funnel, the fish and chips is like the front end offer. An appetizer might be like a bump offer. And then drinks and desserts are like upsells and downsells. So you go to the fish and chip stand to get some fish and chips, and then they might offer you an appetizer to go with it. And then as they're punching in the order, they might say, oh, do you want a drink as well? Or do you want a dessert as well? And that's kind of how a sales funnel works. You go to the front end product. When you're putting in your payment information, you can choose to add a bump offer. And then after you've purchased the front end product, you get offered the upsells and downsells. Now, on the other hand, an e-commerce store is much more like a restaurant. In a restaurant, you go in, you sit down, you look at a menu, you decide what you want, and then you order all the things that you want, and you eat them, and you leave. So with an e-commerce store, basically they tend to display a bunch of different products. You can go to the store, you can browse around all the different pages, you can look at all the different products, you can decide what you want, you can put the things that you want in a cart, and then you go and put in your payment information and buy the selected items. So that's essentially the difference in how they work, and hopefully you can sort of envision the difference now, and hopefully that metaphor made sense to you. Now, what are the differences on a finer level? Well, first of all, sales funnels, which you can make with GrooveSell, they usually have one main offer, which is called a front-end product, and then they may have multiple bump offers, upsells, and downsells. Now, a bump offer, if you didn't get it before, is something that you can add to your order as you're ordering it. So it'll be like a little checkbox as you're putting in your payment information that says, do you want to add this to your order? Whereas an upsell and a downsell are things that get offered after the main product. And if the person selling them is using the right technology, then they can create upsells and downsells that happen in one click, which is great for maximizing your customer's attention and your earnings per sale. Now, sales funnels in particular tend to work very well with high-ticket products, which you need to do a little bit more selling for, which you need to do a little bit more convincing people to buy. But they also work very well when you combine high-ticket products with lower-ticket products. A really popular way of selling expensive products is to use them as upsells on a less expensive front-end product. Now, e-commerce stores, on the other hand, which you can make with the GrooveKart platform, part of GrooveFunnels, is they usually offer a variety of products that are in a specific niche or that are somehow related to each other. They're great for selling multiple relevant products that may or may not be directly related to each other. So, you might have a outdoor equipment e-commerce store, but you also might have an e-commerce store that caters to writers and that sells, notebooks and pens and calendars and things like that. And the great thing about e-commerce stores, which is nice and which sales funnels do not have, is that it allows people to look around and decide what they want before putting everything into a cart and then purchasing. So you can probably see why choosing the correct option is going to influence the number of sales that you make and overall the amount of money that you earn. So, which is better for your business in the end? Well, here's a few guidelines. If you have only one or only a few products to sell, it makes a lot of sense to use a funnel. It also makes a lot of sense to use a funnel if you have little to no brand recognition. If you're just getting started selling online, then you might need to do a little bit more work to convince people with your sales page, and that means you're going to want a full sales page in a funnel. On the other hand, if you have many products that you want to sell, it might make sense to go with an e-commerce store. And also, if you have a known brand, then you might want to just throw up an e-commerce store with a bunch of products and let people buy all the things that they want from you. But it is possible to combine the two in a number of different ways. For example, you can redirect people into a relevant sales funnel after they buy something on your e-commerce store, or you can do it the other way around and redirect people to your e-commerce store after they buy something relevant in a sales funnel. And there's other ways that they can be integrated as well. Those are just a couple of examples. So I hope that cleared things up for you, and I hope that you now understand the difference between sales funnels and e-commerce stores. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment for me, leave me a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next video.